Colleen, pick up your mic and say something, please.
I just groan into it. Everything hurts.
Well,
is that working? Okay.
Yeah, it works great. How are you?
Tired. Stuff going on. Menopause. Night sweats.
Well, can I cheer you up?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so if you're going to get drunk and do something,
okay,
generally it's usually stupid stuff. Like we've had, people breaking into pizza parlors, trying to make pizza in the nude.
it's really in the nude. I mean, there was something on News of the Weird that I'm trying to find.
Well, this one cracks me up.
Maybe next week I'll find
Indiana, bless the little Hoosiers down there. A guy got arrested for mowing someone else's lawn while drunk. So if you're going to do something, it's like, by gosh, be a good neighbor. You know, if you're going to be drunk and stupid, why not mow somebody's lawn?
I'm guessing that he mowed it poorly, because otherwise I would not arrest him.
I'm thinking this neighbor's kind of an asshole, actually.
I mean, your lawn is freaking mowed.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
But apparently, Barry Ridge of Franklin, Indiana, was arrested in a Kroger parking lot. So after he had drank and mowed, he decided to cruise up to Kroger, possibly for more beer. He got pulled over. They confiscated his Husky lawn tractor, and he now has to go to court for OWI, operating while intoxicated. And police said,
so it was a writing.
Of course.
Okay, so it's not just to put.
No.
Okay. See,
no.
that should. Yeah, I think if it had been like a push mower, he may have managed to do this, but no.
Yeah.
No, right.
I'm sorry, but you know what? Even if it was a drunk guy, I'd be like, well, thank you. Thank you so much. You know, I'm not going to turn down a good mow.
No,
are you?
No, not at all.
A free mow?
I even have a tiny little lawn, so I may not. They would have been done before I could have called the cops, I'm sure. That's how small my lawn
is.
is.
I don't know. I think that's mighty unneighborly to report that. That's just me. That's just me.
I'd get your lawn mowed for free.
Hello. So, did you find your story yet?
No, I can't find it.
Well, here, let me mention something that I forgot to bring up last week, but I did read there is a huge push in the state of Nevada to get rid of the legal brothels. And I know it's kind of funny. There's all these churches that are setting up churches nearby on the roads to these brothels and putting up billboards and all of this stuff. And it's actually getting a little bit of traction. But I just can't imagine that once you've how do you say, the genie's out of that bottle? Yeah. I don't know how you're going to be able to put that back in. And it's all sounding very sexual, but
that's not going to work.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose what's probably going to happen is that you're just going to get a hell of a lot more publicity for the folks that may not have known they were actually there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that, and and it's making news.
Yeah,
it's making news. So, they've had some interesting stories. I do think it's kind of funny that that they're like, well, we're going to make it legal, but it can't be in Las Vegas proper and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, oh, okay, we're not inhaling, right? I mean, at what point do you just get over ourselves? I mean,
sex work is work, and when you start doing sort of the stuff like that, the SESTA or whatever it is, just made it unsafe. I mean, I know that the intended thing of that law was to keep, like, child trafficking, human trafficking, all this sort of stuff. But what it does is that it also allows, it gets rid of like safe spaces for actual sex workers and stuff like that. And this is another thing that's going to get rid of safe spaces for folks. It's going to put more people in danger. When you, the more illegal something is, the more in danger some, folks are.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's been several, pot. Cory Booker and a few other places. Now, I mean, I can't imagine it passes in this particular Congress, but they've got they've submitted a bill to get rid of pot-related convictions and expunge records. I mean, there's so many other things we keep spending money on versus someone getting high or someone paying for a consensual blowjob.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and well, along those lines, and I agree with you that there are a lot of parallels between these two issues, but they're also they're debating right now how a lot of companies are saying, well, so many states are legalizing marijuana, so companies are going to stop testing for it because if it's a legal thing and it's showing up,
folks can't find enough. I mean, they have a hard enough time finding employees right now.
Yeah,
and so failing a test for pot. I mean, you could probably say, I can't have you stoned at work. I mean, I don't give a crap what folks do when they're not at my working for me, when they're not punched in on the clock. Now, if what they do ends up encroaching on what I'm doing, like showing up drunk, showing up stoned, or doing something that makes me look in a bad light, I'm going to have a problem.
Sure.
But sitting around on your day off and lighting up a joint, I don't care.
Right?
I mean, I'm not going to because it's not legal in Minnesota right now, but I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. So interesting stuff. Somebody's always going to try to find a way to impose their beliefs on somebody else. And it's
I think
really?
They're probably emboldened by all the stuff, that's going out there. And it's very frustrating.
I'm amazed we've gotten as far as we did. I mean, quite honestly, in the middle of all of this, we've managed, state after state is legalizing marijuana. Gay marriage has taken hold, and there still has been a lot of progress made, though, in the last few years.
There's always, I mean, humankind goes forward, which is why we're not still waiting for lightning to start a fire.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's awesome. So, this is weird, but so worth mentioning on the Great Northern Sexcast, Miss Colleen. There's a MILF meter app.
A MILF? Okay.
Meter app.
Okay.
Yeah. And I love the headline, or it's really more of a tag. Every once in a while, an app comes along that's so mind-numbingly awful, it defies belief. And their contention is the MILF meter fits that. And, it's an AI app that supposedly zones in on global standards of physical beauty. And it could be eyes, bridge of the nose, waist-hip ratio, breast size, tone, symmetry, skin texture. And then the bot, the widget, whatever it does, spits out decision, MILF or not MILF. And it flashes up on the screen.
MILF or not MILF?
Yes. To MILF or not to MILF?
I know.
That is the question. And there's an app for that. And the reason why this came out is the popularity of the MILF genre in porn today.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We sell a lot. That and GILF, too. Grandmother I'd like to fuck.
Oh, okie dokie.
Yeah, we sell plenty of them.
Cam Soda is the one who came up with that one.
Oh, my God. That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's good, funny stuff right there. Yeah, the MILF meter.
To MILF or not to... Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah. So, the world, this is so funny. On so many levels, this next one, the creator of the world's first unisex vibrator won the Veuve Clicquot Business Award, and it's the New Generation Award. And the product is called the Crescendo. So Veuve is that really great champagne.
Okay.
And they sponsor these, very serious business awards. And a vibrator won. Which is,
World's
so champagne
unisex?
vibrators.
As long as it vibrates, it's freaking unisex.
Well, but not everybody knows that, Colleen.
Oh, my God. Okay,
but,
sorry.
Yeah. So this gal that won, her name is, what is her name? She's awesome. Her name is Stephanie Alvis. And the thing is called Mystery Vibe, and it's flexible, and you can do all sorts of different things. It works with an app. You can operate it remotely, just like so many do. And she's so excited to have won a mainstream award. She'd like to thank her parents, the Academy, all that shit. But also. She wanted to change the way society thought about women and sexuality. But I think, to your point, if it vibrates, it's unisex.
You can find a way to make it work for you. No, I mean, okay.
Go ahead, debunk it, because there's probably a lot of people going, what do you mean, Colleen?
There's just so many. I'd have to take a look at it. I don't have a picture here. But, there's so many outie vibrators. A magic wand is a unisex vibrator. an egg shape or a bullet shape is a unisex vibrator.
Okay.
A vibrator, it's just, even a vibrating cock ring, if you use it on your hand or different other places, could be a unisex vibrator. There are some things that, are not going to be like some of the stuff, if you have to stick your dick in something, but there's plenty. It's not the world's first.
Okay.
It might be the world's first unisex vibrator to win this award. I'll give them that.
Okay. Or maybe she just was smart and took the branding opportunity.
Yeah.
So that's, either way, I like ingenuity. I'm a big fan.
Marketing fine, but it ain't first.
The look on your face is pretty funny. This is, I don't know how I feel about this next story. And it's not a judgment thing. It's just a, oh my God thing. So, transgender woman says, that she has bedded more than 2,000 men since transitioning. And she's 48 now. Her name's Crystal Warren, 48 years old. She's planning to try to break the 3,000 mark by the time she's 50. She's only got 2 years and she's been doing this. It's taken her how many years? About 20 years, I want to say, to rack this up.
Okay, so 2,000 divided by 20 is only 100. Is only 100 folks a year.
It's actually
okay.
So 28 years she's been doing it.
Yeah.
So how many is 1,000 in 2 years?
500.
Well, it's 3 a day, basically. Ish. Well, 360, 2 or 3 a day.
This person's had a lot of sex.
Yeah. And it's kind of funny because she says she has sex with different men most nights of the week. And she goes, I always have safe sex. I can't get pregnant. So what's the big deal? And she said, usually the sex is so casual, I don't get the opportunity to explain about my past, so why should I bother if they don't ask? That's what I wanted to ask you about. What do you think? I mean, do you think that warrants disclosure?
Who cares? Honestly, the person that should be promoting this is her surgeon. If someone's not noticing, that's one hell of a surgeon.
Well, yeah. That's true. That's true.
Wherever she had work done, I want to, that's where I'd want to go.
That's true. That's a good point. That's a good point. I don't know. In other things that shouldn't go in, around, or near a vagina.
Okay. So not glitter, not all sort. Okay.
This is another. This is another whitening cream sort of situation. This person, this time in the hot seat, is beauty blogger Huda Katan. She did a piece on how to whiten the vagina, and doctors are smacking back, saying, you know what, this stuff should not be used near or on a vagina. So her article was called "Why Your Vagina Gets Dark and How to Lighten It."
No.
She's got 25 million Instagram followers. And these are DIY vagina. I don't like the word DIY and vagina in the same sentence.
I just got on Instagram like last week or something like that. I've been poking around on it, trying to figure out what is going through there, and I can I'm beginning to sort of see the appeal because it's all visual and it's hard to be controversial on when you're just taking a picture of your dinner. Okay, or whatever it is or your pet, or a beautiful sunset, or I'm not, sure, what I'm looking at, or follow, National Geographic, great, photo of porpoises, But how would someone have 25 million followers? I followed just for random. I found some famous people and followed them. They don't have 25 million followers.
Yeah. Unclear. But let me finish the title of her of DIY vagina lightening hacks. So that's 3 words I don't want to hear together. Hacks, vagina, and DIY. No. The hacks term can go away now. Are you over it?
Oh, I'm so that's just so stupid. So use a bread tie a bread thing to organize your cords. That just that's like Heloise's helpful household hints. That is not a hack. Oh God.
Well, here's some of the things that she suggests that you shouldn't use, but I'm going to tell you what they are. Egg whites, lemon juice, yogurt, coconut oil. So now the doctor who's shaming her, Dr. Doris Day, you can't make this shit up,
Seriously?
a New York dermatologist. Really? Yeah. She said that you should only use prescription creams because you can otherwise, attract thrush and all sorts of different weird infections down there because you mess up the pH balance.
And your bacteria and all that sort of stuff. It's a self-cleaning device.
It is.
It really, really is.
Yes.
That's why things are generally moist and stuff falls. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop putting stuff in there.
It comes up all the time.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like another thing that would have been on Goop or something, for God's sake.
For sure. So, studio dog Fred is really trying to decide if he's going to make the effort to get up there on the couch with you.
Staring at him.
He's tired. He went for a big, long walk this morning, and he's really tired.
He came racing in here just to fall asleep.
Well, when we pull up to come do the sex cast, he knows that we're going to see Colleen, and Fred has a foot fetish for Colleen's feet. It's a 3.5 year love affair, and when he knows, and if I say your name, he howls. He knows.
It's
so cute. He loves you.
Just drags your ass across the parking lot to get in.
He does.
Here.
And then he lays down and goes right to bed.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm like, it's like a big fat tease. You're a tease.
There's a new term in the dating world.
Oh God!
Okay, remember ghosting was the last one that we had.
Oh yeah.
And which it's gross and now it has a name, right?
Okay.
Ghosting. Mm-hmm. The new word is orbiting. Orbiting.
Okay. What have they?
It's not
what old timey thing have they given a new name to now?
Actually, this is new. This is a new thing because
there's to do with social media.
Yes, because it pertains to stuff that wasn't around.
Oh, okay.
So, what happens is the writer that did an article on this and named it, her name is Anna Iovine. She said, okay, I started dating this man. After the second date, he stopped answering my texts, so I gathered it was over. And then I noticed he was watching every single one of my Instagram and Snapchat stories. And he was often one of the first people to click on it, like it, tag it, whatever.
So in other words, it's stalking.
But he doesn't talk to her. Isn't that weird?
If you don't care for someone, why'd you go?
It's creepy. Well, and I had a guy do that, although it wasn't social media.
Can you block people on it? Yeah, I'm assuming you.
Oh, I would think you could. But I had something similar happen back in 2009, right when I was getting divorced, and I spent a whopping 30 days on Match before I met my now fiance Carl, and a guy that I dated for 2 weeks, right? He sort of fell off the map. I mean, he was driving me crazy. He was texting me, emailing me 5 times a day, sending me all this stuff. And, he was fine. I needed something to do at that time. I was like, whatever. And then all of a sudden, just nothing. But then I would get he would send out this Christmas letter every year, the pictures with the Christmas letter. And every time on my birthday, he'd send me these birthday emails and stuff. So I would unsubscribe and block, or I would block him. And then, but still for a couple more years, I kept getting him from same guy, but different email addresses. So I finally wrote him back and I said, how do I unsubscribe from you? And I go, I keep blocking these addresses and you pop up and I go, it's creepy. And just so you know, I also don't want your Christmas recap. So thank you.
Folks, if you don't want her,
why would you do that? That's weird.
I mean, you don't contact him and then you follow him and then you don't go away and it just, that's the one thing when I was younger that always sort of creeped me out is that when someone would be overly interested in you when they don't know you enough.
Yeah.
That just was red flags all over the place. And now there's just different ways to creep on folks.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Yeah, it was really kind of strange. So, so here we go. Oh God, there's a couple super funny. So the World Cup is, and football, AKA soccer fans, international soccer fans, I think they are quite possibly the most enthusiastic fans on earth.
Yeah, okay, I enjoy a baseball game, and people say that like nothing happens in that to some extent, because I like the idea of a sport that doesn't have a time to it, even though they're trying to, you sit back, you have a beer, you have a brat, and do that sort of stuff. And, and nothing may happen. It may be like a 1-0 game, and I don't have a problem. So I don't have a problem with the no scoring or the, the stuff in that. But I watching like guys or gals run for like 90 minutes and block things, I just think I've tried to like get into this game, and I just don't, it's not a thing. But it's also sort of the same thing with it. Like, I think basketball is the opposite of that. There's all this scoring, but there's still just running back and forth. They're like the opposite. I don't know. I don't see. Obviously there's skills in it, but I can't discern them.
Right.
As much as I try, and I've tried, stuff like that, I don't see the skills.
But it is in the DNA of these European and African fans. And,
Latin fans.
And Latin, I mean, I'm kind of with you. I mean, it's amazing to watch the athleticism, but yeah, I don't have that bug. But these people are nuts. I mean, they are so into it. And so the World Cup is getting going. And St. Petersburg is getting
is where the final big shindig is going to be. Okay,
this is where this one club, at least part of it, is being held there.
Okay,
so a Russian sex club named Club Fortuna is targeting the lusty World Cup fans to come, and it's pretty neat. It kind of sounds like really like a club that's really got its act together. I mean, we've talked to so many swingers on the show. And by the way, did I tell you Mrs. Sin called me not too long ago?
Yeah, we gotta
get her back in here. Anyway, she's a swinger that we've had on this show that we all just kind of put on our seatbelts when she comes in the room, because you never know what the hell. But I digress. Anyway, this fan is talking. Oh my God, this is amazing. This place is crazy. But they've got they've got a pool, and the ceiling to the room where the big pool is, where whatever, is glass. So people are encouraged to have sex on the upstairs room on the glass. So if you're in the pool, you can look up and see people fucking.
But everyone would be sort of squished.
I know. Wouldn't it be cool though? I think it'd be awesome.
My sister went to school in Vegas. So that's where she met her husband and all that sort of stuff. So we went, we go to Vegas, and there used to be shows in Vegas. And one time my dad got us all rooms at Caesars. So that was sort of fun. We're there. And so I've got a room, and I sort of laid on the bed, and I just, I don't travel well. I get motion sick. And so, they were all off eating. I just went to the room, and I had to sleep, because I was nauseous. I didn't notice the mirrors on the ceiling of this room. So I wake up, and I'm like,
I've never been in a room with one of them.
I had never had before, and never had since. And I just sat there, and for the life of me, I'm like, how is this sexy? I could not, my brain did not in any way, shape, or form look at this as something that I would think was sensual, sexy, fun. Maybe because I was startled that way, that now my brain has just been totally irreparably traumatized by this. Come on up.
There comes Brad.
I got the puppers.
Yeah.
I got the puppers.
Well, see, I mean,
now it's just frightening, and I was by myself. So oh God,
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't mind it to be able to look up and watch. I think that might be kind of fun. I mean, I don't know, but it's just, I don't know. It was such a big thing was made of it for such a long time, and then it became cheesy.
Just think about it, like boobs squished against the floor, or splashed out.
I think smushed balls would be hilarious.
Yeah, seriously, just everything would be sort of squishy.
I think it's fabulous. I think it's super, super funny. But they do all sorts of really great parties. Listen to how cheap this is. $60 US dollars to go. And they have like all the food and drink that you want. I mean, it sounds like they're really well organized. And they have super, incredible rules, and everybody they have to be grooming. There's all the standards, and everybody gets vetted, and their website says the lion's share of participants at swing parties constitute Marital sex couples, single men are allowed in limited numbers, prohibited rudeness and boorishness.
Yes.
So that's kind of cool.
And I'm sure they love the. I wonder if the Spanish. I wonder what the Russian word for unicorn is.
Unclear.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, student goes home for holiday, a weekend from college.
Oh yeah.
Dumps her bag out and then forgets to kind of pack everything in a hurry to get back to school, leaves her dildo on her desk in her bedroom at home, gets all the way back to school. It's a few hours away and realizes that she forgot to grab that and that her mom's probably going to go in and clean the room after she leaves. So she's frantically texting her brother, help me, Chris, you got to go, blah, blah, blah. Mom's going to be there. He's like peeing his pants. The brother thinks this is like the best thing ever. Can't make this shit up, right? He goes home knowing full well that the mom's already been there. And sure as shit, mom had gone in there, tidied up the room, but the way she just kind of put it in the pencil holder on the desk. And she's like, we still aren't sure whether she knew exactly what it was, but we didn't bring it up.
It must have been more, so obviously it wasn't like a penis shaped one. She's talking about just like a plastic fire. Why do you, I understand bringing it home, but how do you leave it on your desk?
Because she dumped her bag out and just, probably got busy and, didn't think about it. Considering the fact that I have entire warehouse of dildos there, I'm not even sure I would notice it. Really?
Because it might as well be a brush or a comb or a notebook. It's amazing when I'm flipping through stuff and I go, oh, wait a minute, what am I looking at? It's so ordinary for me.
Yeah, you are desensitized in some areas.
Yep.
So, we've talked about this and we've referenced this sort of thing.
Okay.
I don't think we've ever really had an actual story about it, but it's here it is. And this comes to us from Kentucky.
The place of my birth.
That's right. I forgot that. And if you asked me, if somebody said, do you think, not Minnesota, where do you think Colleen was born? That would probably be at the absolute bottom of my list next to Alabama, Arkansas, and West Virginia. But I digress. Anyway, so, there's people that like to live as babies. And
when we did Pride a couple years ago, the booth to our left was an adult baby booth. They had a large high chair and they sold onesies and big diapers and bonnets. And, fine, whatever.
Were they busy?
They seem to have a fair amount of people. It's Pride. People are curious. They go up. They have questions and that sort of stuff. But one of the things that I thought was fascinating is that a lot of things are fine. But let's say, but that one is you're not really going to go out in public with. That's going to be hard to do. Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is a little bit of an accounting. We're going to, as always, our fabulous Ms. Megan is going to post this on the Great Northern Sex Cast Facebook page. You can read the article for yourself because it's a decent length of an article. So Max is a 20-year-old woman engaged to a guy who's Johnny, who's 31. And their relationship is called a DDLG, Daddy Dom Little Girl relationship. Okay. Yeah, it's a subset of BDSM. This is for everybody who's never heard this stuff before. So it involves one partner acting as the dominant caregiver and the other being submissive and childlike. So Max has settled herself as about a 5-year-old at home. And she's like, this is the dynamic of their relationship, which it begs the question, in my opinion, is this guy, if cartoon child porn is considered right there, is he considered borderline pedophile? I mean, you have to ask this question.
Yeah, it is a little weird because, she likes to, but this is someone that's not, it has more to do with the fact that someone's just not ready to be a grown-up. this, I mean, I can see, you're role playing and stuff like that, but to be there all the time, I mean, take the sex away from it. It's someone that isn't psychologically ready to deal with the stuff that someone her age should be dealing with. Mm-hmm. And because of that, is the other person taking advantage of them? Because it's a constant thing. There are a lot of lines here that they would take at a lot of sex therapists and
a little blurry.
Yeah,
we should ask. We need to ask Dr. Markey about this stuff because this one is weird.
Because like I said, I mean. The person's over 18.
And she was 18 when she got into this.
Yeah, someone's, I don't know. Or is she smart like a fox here and has found a way to get everything paid for? The ultimate sugar daddy.
She says, I don't see in here that she's got a job, but she says she does pay her own bills. How that works, I don't know. Maybe she just does this at home. But there's a couple quotes here. She's got rules: no tantrums, no back talk, no staying up past bedtime. She has a naughty corner. And all of that kind of stuff. She spends a lot of time. He puts her down for a nap and all of that other kind of stuff. But they kind of fell into it together. They sort of started, she said, I do adult stuff all the time. I'm 20. I pay my bills. Mm-hmm. This is not something I can control. If we go out to a nice dinner, I don't randomly shout daddy because that's involving other people in something that they didn't consent to.
See, Liz has a big thing about that. Fine for them; they're two consenting adults. But when it becomes other people's problems and they haven't been there, that tells me that it's just a kink that they enjoy. That is probably the most sane statement right there.
Yeah,
to know that they're just, it's something that works for the two of them. I mean, I suppose some folks like to pretend they're a dog. There's puppy play.
Yeah. Can't believe we both so quickly can roll that right out. Yeah. We both know this. Mm-hmm. This is for Megan.
Sex robot?
Yep.
Evil sex robot?
Not yet. It's just, there's a new survey. Do you know the company EdenFantasies.com?
Yeah. Okay. They're tough to compete with.
Okay. They did a survey of 2,000 people. 4 in 10 people would have sex with a robot. 4 in 10 respondents.
Only 4?
Well,
because I figured most people would say, hell, I mean, it's just a different way of masturbating. Mm-hmm. What you're going through there. I don't know. I mean, if you would say, if it was like 4 in 10 people would have a relationship, an exclusive relationship with their sex robot, that, I would say, okay. But I can't imagine that more than 40% would say, screw it, just for see what it's like. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. This is kind of funny. They turned their, which why wouldn't you do this if you're a business? They turned this survey into a total market research thing. It said the most of these respondents were willing to pay for a sex robot is $1,666. Men on average are willing to fork out approximately $560 more than women. And the dolls that they were being asked about are the really expensive ones, the AI enhanced dolls that are really about $11,000. So people just really were disconnected from what's really involved with this. So I think it was pretty casual, sort of response. But that's amazing. Did you see? It's been on the news the last couple of days. The robotic dog and the robot that jumps and jogs, and there's the humanoid looking one, and then there's one that's a dog, and it's 4-legged. It doesn't have a head.
Oh, okay, yeah,
it's creepy as fucking all get out. I'm telling you right now.
No, is this the ones that open the door?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird. I don't want that thing in my house. No. I'll take my I have 2 real dogs, and one of my little precious pumpkins puked in our bed the other night. Yeah, good times. But I'll
honestly, I would rather have the animal puke in my bed than shit in my bed.
Yes, ma'am.
I had one of my cats, when we first got it, we were trying to find the right food for it.
Yeah.
And it had explosive diarrhea right across my bed.
Oh.
Stained everything. And that's when I discovered that the inexpensive but gorgeous comforter that I bought at like Home Goods was dry clean only.
Oh. Let's just take a moment and mourn that beautiful piece.
So
I'm sorry.
It all cleaned up is fine. It just, the cat cost me a lot in dry cleaning until I figured out the right food for her. Oh my God. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So no robotic dogs. I'll clean up the deal and deal with puppies and all that good stuff. This is kind of interesting. Really, really kind of weird thing. University College in London did a study and a survey that uncovered there in Britain, 1 in 8 26-year-olds, millennials, are virgins. And they are saying it's just a sharp rise in later virgins from previous generations, and it's kind of, there's a million theories as to why this is, but they are talking about they're kind of introverted because of all of the electronics that we interact with.
Well, there's that too, and a relationship usually means doing things, and a lot of folks that are millennials are struggling financially. And if you can't participate in a relationship, I could see you going out there, there would be that too. I mean, they're just burdened with an enormous amount of debt. And so that really, really messes with a lot of folks' self-esteem when they can't dig themselves out from under that.
One commenting psychologist or a psychoanalytic psychotherapist, that was a mouthful there, said millennials have been brought up in a culture of hypersexuality, which has bred a fear of intimacy, too. So the desensitization to it has then kept them from...
I think, am I doing this right? What's going to be going on?
Which is a weird full circle kind of deal.
All the expectations and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of weird. I don't know. This was weird. Gigi Hadid, the supermodel. She's really pretty.
No, I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. She ended up having, she wore blackface on the cover of Vogue Italia. And after having made some pretty controversial remarks about 1.5 years ago, she's one of the ones.
I can't believe that anyone in the world would think this would be what's the word I want? The designer, the artistic director, whatever it is, would anyone would think this would be okay?
Yeah.
I don't care whether it's Italy or not.
I'm pretty sure she's the one that made fun of Melania's accent at the Oscars, and she made fun of it. But yeah, they basically it was a bronzer, but a lot of people said it went too far, and it really had that look, and it was sort of an undertone. Just a really strange controversy. We'll put the pictures up, and you can kind of see. But they're trying to say, well, we were actually trying to get together and show darker skin. Well, then hire a black model. I mean,
there are I don't know, maybe 5 billion out of the 7 billion people on this planet.
Yeah,
I'm sure you can find would be considered non-Caucasian, maybe even more.
Yeah,
I think you could maybe find one.
Yes, yes. Okay. So this is weird. So the Me Too movement. This is really interesting. And I didn't even know this joke. This would have gone right past me if I had been in this elevator. Did you hear about the professor? There's this big academic conference in San Francisco. It was like the International Studies Association is what it was. Okay. So there's all these, people with letters up behind their names converging in San Francisco. And, they were packed into an elevator at the Hilton, and when somebody said what floors, a 76-year-old professor, Richard Ned LeBeau, said ladies lingerie, which I guess is an old stupid joke that people make in an elevator, which I
They do? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't either. Whatever. Well, I guess it's like a really old bad joke. Okay. Another professor went and made a complaint, wrote to the head of, the association, and her name is, she works, Simona Sharoni, and I think she works at, Merrimack College here in Massachusetts. He got in trouble. They criticized his joke and the fact that he said that complaint was frivolous. And they demanded that he apologize. And he said, this is ridiculous. This is political correctness run amok. And everybody is arguing over, was he awful? Was that a Me Too moment? Did she overreact? And now the fact that everybody's fighting about it, now what do we all do? I wanted to hear what your thoughts were.
There's context, which we don't, they say it's an elevator, but we weren't actually there.
It was a packed elevator.
And it just, you would think that in the past 18 months or something, that anyone that has functioning brain cells would know that referring to sexuality in a frivolous way in a group of people you don't know is inappropriate. How you not, I'm not saying you have
what
to
if
agree
he
with
was transgender and he wanted to shop for panties? Now is he but they're not harassing? I don't know.
But they're not. They're at a convention. They're not at they're not at Macy's. They're not at the Mall of America. They're not. It is an attempt. It's attempt to be funny by saying that you want to shop for something salacious in a you're not with friends, you're not with people you don't know, you're not at a mall. There is no reason to say this. Now, could someone just look at him and said, "Oh, dude, knock it off and move on"? Yeah.
Or what about this? What about?
But
okay. But what if the intent was that guys are so they want to go look at panties? Maybe the joke is on the men in a way too.
I'm just saying it's inappropriate place and an inappropriate comment, and there are degrees. This would have been the time when someone just turns him and says, knock it off, not appropriate, and then you move on. Someone grabs an ass in the elevator, you tell, get your hand off my fucking ass, and then you say something.
Yeah.
So you've got both things that there needs to be. What is the bad Vietnam's phrase? A proportional response.
It's the International Studies Association. He might be kicked out because of this.
Yeah, all he would have had to say is, you know what? That was an idiotic remark in an inappropriate place, and then move on.
Yeah, but nobody does anymore. No. They need to register formal complaints and win and all of this other kind of stuff. This one, I think, Monica Lewinsky. I can't think of anybody else it might suck to be more than her at this point. She, I really don't know what she's been doing all this time, but she has been just absolutely, I don't know how she has a life, makes an income, does anything because of the stigma that follows her and will for the rest of her life. This last Wednesday, she tweeted out, "Please don't invite me to an event, especially one about social change. And then after I've accepted, uninvite me because Bill Clinton decided to attend." It's 2018. Thoughts?
I saw this and I didn't know I didn't see what the event was or anything like that. And what I thought was fascinating is that it's still that it would even be an issue this many years later, it's going through there. The gala, Clarence Thomas and the what's her name? I see she pops up in the news recently too. The one that testified against Clarence Thomas during.
Anita Hill.
Anita Hill, thank you. My brain was so that. She pops up every now and then. So I would say that Ms. Hill and Ms. Lewinsky, have been, certainly overly crucified for for taking a stand in which the guys weren't. And he's right. It's 2018. You know, you invite someone, you don't disinvite someone, and you let the grown-ups deal with it as they may.
Yeah. And
now,
yeah, go ahead.
did she have to tweet about it?
Well,
You know, because that's how you go through there. But I think it would be handier if someone else was to write about it. But I did see that and go, yeah, I have to admit,
that's
she's right.
shitty.
Yeah,
That's shitty.
That's just yeah.
And this was
reneging on it. You know, I mean, obviously they invited her for a reason. You know, they did what they're.
And then they got the bigger fish, and yeah.
Regardless of the reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just bad taste.
They did send out, they said, we apologize to Ms. Lewinsky and regret the way the situation was handled. And Lewinsky said, please don't try to ameliorate nice word, ameliorate. Love that.
Oh, yeah.
The situation by insulting me with an offer of an article in your magazine. So she's like, fuck you. I'm done. But, you know, I do feel sorry for her. And I don't think that 22 years later, she's 44 now, and she was 22 when this happened. I think it's really sad that she's still dealing with that. I really do.
Yeah, that should be. Yeah, everybody else got their get out of jail free cards. It seems she should have a limo get out of jail free card there.
Yeah, so that's that. So anything new and exciting? Are you into the twins already this year?
I have not been paying. There's been a lot going on. Kid going to prom, getting ready to switch out an entranceway at a store, just stuff. Getting ready for a road trip that I'm going on, and so I just have not had a chance to
do the baseball thing.
To do the baseball thing.
Are you gonna this year? I mean, is it in the plan?
Yeah. I mean, I've been looking at the schedule trying to figure out. But I used to get tickets like 1 or 2 games a month. You know, not season tickets, just different places. Treat myself to some really good tickets for one game, and then set up in the bleachers for the next, and stuff like that. Just different places because it's a good ballpark no matter what.
Yep.
But then I ended up, I would be exhausted or not feeling well, or something would come up, and I'm like, I stopped buying them. And now that the Twins, I mean, they did well last year, but then they had a little slump. I know that, but now they're back. It's just easy enough to just go down to the ballpark if I want to go.
Yeah, and just make a decision. Well, I hope you enjoy and get out there. I know it's summer's here, so and the dog is snoring.
He is out. Yeah. I mean, totally out right next to me. It's just so cute.
It is cute. Well, Colleen, nicely done. And we will be back at y'all next week.
See you then.